Hey, everybody. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here, and thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to get another topic from the Wisdom of the Oracle. And just so you know, if we get a repeat, I usually don't take them. It just depends. Today we have Observer. And I like that. I like that because yesterday we were talking about looking at your environment and trying to find anything that is not helping you stay in alignment with your authentic self and the goals that you want to reach. An observer, I love this actually because we talked about how a lot of times in those scenarios we have to make difficult choices. And when we are in our emotions, which is where difficult choices put us, it's very difficult to clearly see a situation because on one hand we have what we want things to be. And on the other hand, we have what we need things to be. And if those things are not the same, then we definitely end up in our emotions because we want this, but we need this. But we want this, but we need this. Almost like, to really simplify it, I want a cookie, but I should eat a carrot. I really want the cookie, but I know I need the carrot. The thing that we really, really want, if that's not what's good for us, if we don't make the decision, that decision is going to get made for us. Because if we're in a situation where we are not authentic to ourselves, we are not in a situation where we are satisfied, content, we can be at peace, where there's stress or constant inconvenience, that's not going to work out. And generally speaking, making the choice sooner rather than later is best for all parties involved, because the longer you are in a situation where you are inconvenienced, uncomfortable, discontent, you are not fun to be around. You're not. So if you don't decide to get a new job, you're going to get fired. I mean, the universe is going to take the cookie away anyway. You might as well get the carrot. Or you're going to get the cookie and it's going to be moldy because it's not meant for you. That situation, whatever it may be, is not meant for you. If you eat it, it's going to make you sick. And staying in situations where we're not comfortable will make us sick every time. I have been through this several times in my life where what I wanted was this. I knew what I needed was this. But I really wanted this to work, so I kept trying and trying and trying. And every time I have lost my health. And then you're in a situation where you can't even help yourself because you're not well. So, observer, let me get back on topic here, which really it still is, but I get off on tangents. So, by being an observer, to really analyze a situation, look for the best possible compromise, the best possible outcomes, the best possible, most beneficial option for all parties involved. We need to become an observer, like a third party observer, and separate from our emotions. Look at the situation as if a friend had come to you for advice and said, look, this is what's going on. What do you think I should do? And looking at it as this doesn't really affect you directly, it's your friend. Your friend's having this problem. What would you tell them to do? What options would you give them? What would you suggest? Because when we look at it like that and we get out of the emotion, we can make better decisions. And in those moments when you have a tough choice to make, getting out of your emotions, that's key. Our emotions are important and they're there for a reason. However, our emotions can also lie to us because it wants the cookie. It wants the cookie. And we all know what happens if we eat only cookies and leave the carrots. Things don't work out well. And especially right now, we've got a lot of activity from Saturn, and we've talked a lot about self discipline. When we have to make hard choices, that self discipline is ultimately much what you're going to fall back on, that intestinal fortitude. Because just like eating the carrot instead of the cookie, you have to tell yourself, yeah, I want the cookie, but it'll make me sick. The carrot will feed my body and nourish me. I need to eat the carrot. And then find the compromise again, where when we just go off impulse, if you know someone or you've been someone who reacts out of emotion to situations, if you've ever quit your job without notice in the moment because your boss said something that pissed you off, you know what I'm talking about. Where you're like, ah, responding out of emotion, or actually reacting. You're reacting out of emotion. You have not taken the time to think this through. You haven't thought about future you and how future you is going to deal with this, how this is going to impact so many different things. So when we can take the observer role and step back, third party view, this is the situation. Something has to change. So I have 3 criteria. Can I accept it? And if it's just not acceptable because it's just not working for me, it's keeping me off balance, it's keeping me emotionally disturbed, dis-ease, or can I change it? Because if I can't accept it, can I change it? And if I can't change it and I've looked at all available options, then I can't, there's nothing that I can do to change the situation to where I will not be at a position of dis-ease. Can I leave it? Now, when I say can I leave it, that doesn't mean end it, okay? You don't have to end things that you change. You can stay in a situation by leaving a portion of it, if that makes sense. Because if the problem with your job is how far away you live, you can move. Or if a certain home environment isn't working for you, you can correct it and still maintain the relationship with the people who are in the home. Everything doesn't have to be thrown away to be changed. Compromise. Don't get drastic. That's where when we react out of emotion, it's usually drastic, and we typically regret the choices that we make when we're reacting out of emotion. When we respond from the position of the observer, we take time to look at options, see what's in the best interest of all parties involved, give our 2 weeks notice. That's in your best interest too. And that's the thing, that when something absolutely is not working and you've done everything you can think to do to make it work, but you are still not in a place where it's acceptable, you have got to honor yourself. Because if you stay where you are not comfortable, it will make you sick. Mentally, emotionally, physically, probably all 3. And that's a high price to pay for not wanting to make a decision. And like I said, sometimes they are very hard choices to make because we want the cookie, not the carrot. But we need the carrot. And that's when the universe is like watching. This is how this ties in with the whole manifestation thing that we were talking about yesterday. The universe is watching. When you set your intentions, do you really want it? Do you want the dream? Do you want the goal? Are you truly dedicated to reaching your soul's highest purpose? Because when that blockade comes in and you've got to make a tough decision, are you going to be true to you? And always, always, the universe will desire that you pick the option that is most beneficial to all parties involved. Never will the universe back you in trying to be hurtful, spiteful. Another reason why we don't react out of emotion, we respond. So, if there is a situation like we talked about yesterday that is keeping you from your milk and honey, become the observer. Look at all the aspects, all the people, all the details, what options are available, which would be the least damaging to all parties involved. How can you honor yourself and also honor the other people while still making the choice that works best for you? The answer is out there. It really is. That's why the observer is so important in this scenario. You have to detach emotionally, look at it like it's someone else's problem that's coming to you for advice, and then figure out, what would you tell them? If this did not impact you at all, and you're looking at it from over here, right? You're watching it on TV and you got to decide, or they used to have the books that you could pick the ending. You get to choose the ending. What would you suggest for them? And then, once you have responded, not reacted, responded to the details and the information that you have, you lay out your options, you find the best possible solution, and then start making those daily steps, daily actions to bring that into your reality. Again, the universe is watching. Do everything with love, good intention, honoring parties involved. We gotta honor you first. Okay? Number one. So, I hope this helps, and I will talk to you soon.